And this is me, your host. Welcome back to our channel. I hope you all are well and doing great. So, today I am back with another video to give a review on another book, which is The More Beautiful World Our Hearts Know Is Possible. This book is by Charles Einstein. Sometimes I feel nostalgic for the cultural mythology of my youth. A world in which there was nothing wrong with soda pop, in which the Super Bowl was important. In which America was bringing democracy to the world, in which the doctor could fix you, in which science was going to make life better and better. And they just put a man on the moon. Life made sense. If you worked hard, you could get good grades, get into a good college, go to grad school, or follow some other professional path. With a few unfortunate exceptions, you would be successful if you obeyed the rules of our society. If you followed the latest medical advice, kept informed by reading the New York Times, got a good education, obeyed the law, made prudent investments, and stayed away from bad things like drugs. Sure, there were problems, but the scientists and experts were working hard to fix them. Soon, a new medical advance, a new law, a new educational technique would propel the onward improvement of life. My childhood perceptions were part of narrative. I called the story of the people. in which humanity was destined to create a perfect world through science, reason, and technology, to conquer nature, transcend our animal origins, and engineer a rational society. From my vantage point, the basic premises of this story seemed unquestionable. My education, the media, and most of all, the normality of the routines around me conspired to say everything is fine. Today it is increasingly obvious that this was a bubble world built atop massive human suffering and environmental degradation. But at the time, one could live within that bubble without need of much self deception. The story that surrounded us was robust. It easily kept anomalous data points on the margins. Nonetheless, I, like many others, felt a wrongness in the world, a wrongness that seeped through the cracks of my privileged, insulated childhood. I never fully accepted what I had been offered as normal. Life, I knew, was supposed to be more joyful than this, more real, more meaningful, and the world was supposed to be more beautiful. We were not supposed to hate Mondays and live for the weekends and holidays. We were not supposed to have to raise our hands to be allowed to be. We were not supposed to be kept indoors on a beautiful day, day after day. It is frightening, this transition between worlds, but it is also alluring. Have you ever gotten addicted to doom and gloom websites, logging on every day to read the latest evidence that collapse is coming soon? Feeling almost let down when peak oil didn't start in 2005. Or the financial system didn't collapse in 2008. Do you look forward to the future with a mixture of dread? Yes, but also a kind, yes, but also a kind of positive anticipation. When a big crisis looms, a superstorm or financial crisis, is there a part of you that says, bring it on? Hoping at night, hoping it might free us from our collective entrapment in a system that serves no one. Is it? It is quite normal to fear what one most desires. We desire to transcend the story of the world that has come to enslave us. That indeed is killing the planet. We fear what the end of that story will bring, the demise of much that is familiar. Fear it or not, it is happening already. Since my childhood in the 1970s, our story of the people has eroded at an accelerating rate. More and more people in the West no longer believe that civilization is fundamentally on the right track. Even those who don't yet question its basic premises in any explicit way seem to have grown weary of it. A layer of cynicism, a hipster of self awareness has muted our earnestness. What was once so real, say a plug in a party platform, today is seen through several levels of meta filters. The parse it in terms of image and message. We are like children who have grown out of a story that once enthralled us. Aware now that it is only a story. People in the next chapter that we have a rugged territory to traverse to get to it from where we are today. If my description of a story of interbeing, a reunion of humanity and nature, self and other, work and play, discipline and desire, matter and spirit, man and woman, money and gift, justice and compassion, and so many other polarities seems idealistic or naive. If it arouses cynicism, impatience, or despair, then please do not push these feelings aside. They are not obstacles to be overcome. That is part of the old story of control. They are gateways to our fully inhabiting a new story. And the vastly expanded power to serve change that it brings. We do not have a new story yet. Each of us is aware of some of its threads. For example, in most of the things we call alternative, holistic, or ecological today. Here and there we see patterns, designs, emerging parts of the fabric. But the new mythos has not yet formed. We will abide for a time in the space between stories. It is a very precious, some might say scared, second time. Then we are in touch with the real. Each disaster lays bare the reality underneath our stories. The terror of a child, the grief of a mother, the honesty of not knowing why. In such moments, our dormant humanity awakens as we come to each other's aid. Human to human, and learn who we are. That's what keeps happening every time there is a calamity. Before the old beliefs, ideologies, and politics take over again. Now the calamities and contradictions are coming so fast that the story has not enough time to recover. Such is the birth process into a new story. A recognition of alliance is growing among people in diverse arenas of activism, whether political, social, or spiritual. The holistic acupuncturist and the sea turtle rescuer may not be able to explain the feeling. We are serving the same thing, but they are. Both are in service to an emerging story of the people that is the defining mythology of a new kind of civilization. I will call it the story of interbeing, the age of reunion, the ecological age, the world of the gift. It offers an entirely different set of answers to the defining questions of life. Here are some of the principles of the new story. That my being partakes of your being and that of all beings. This goes beyond interdependency. Our very existence is relational. That therefore, what we do to another, we do to ourselves. That each of us has a unique and necessary gift to give the world. That the purpose of life is to express our gifts. That every act is significant and has an effect on the cosmos. That we are fundamentally unseparate from each other, from all beings, and from the universe. That every person we encounter and every experience we have mirrors something in ourselves. That humanity is meant to join fully the tribe of all life on earth, offering our uniquely human gifts toward the well being and development of the whole. That purpose, consciousness, and intelligence are innate properties of matter and the universe. Much of this book will flesh out the story of interbeing. The more we share with each other this kind of knowledge, the stronger we are in it. The less alone. It need not depend on the denial of science, because science is undergoing parallel paradigm shifts. It need not to endure the denial of livelihood, because from our trust in gift we find unexpected sources of sustenance. It need not withstand the denial of everyone around us, because more and more people are living from the new story. Each in his or her own way, inducing a growing feeling of camaraderie nor is it a turning away from the world that is still mired in separation, because from the new story we access new and powerful ways to effect change. I would like to speak to those of you who feel triggered by the principles of interbeing I laid out earlier. Which I admit smack of new age puffery. Actually, let me be brutally honest here. I only use the phrase new age puffery as a way to implicitly assure you that I am no dupe of such a thing. That I am on the side of the hard headed realists. See, here I am joining you in derision. This is a common tactic. Liberals take special pleasure in criticizing more radical leftists, nuts and bolts. Ufologists are vehement in their derision of abduction claims. The kid who is bullied turns on someone still weaker. The unpopular kids in school take pains not to be tainted by association with the very unpopular kids. By doing this, though, we attempt to borrow legitimacy from the very system we hope to subvert. And indirectly enhance its legitimacy by associating our own with it. We commit the same error when we overly on the academic or professional credentials of our allies to persuade those who are impressed by such things. If I appeal to Dr. Ibn Alexander's status as a professor of neurosurgery to get you to believe in extrasomatic near death experiences, then implicitly I am affirming that you should trust that status generally, along with the edifice of academic science surrounding it. But generally, those of that status and of that edifice deny his arguments. Appeals to authority will only strengthen authority. What implicit message is encoded in "See this professor, that republican, this businessman, that mainstream pundit agree with me"? It is that these people carry the legitimate stamp of approval and not those outsiders, hippies, the uncredentialed, the unpublished. Using this tactic, we might win the battle. But we will lose the war. Audre Lorde said it well: the master's tool will never dismantle the master's house. Similar logic applies to utility-based arguments for environmentalism. Have you ever heard arguments that we must practice conservation because of the economic value of ecosystem services? Have you ever heard arguments that we must practice conservation? Such arguments are problematic because they affirm the very assumption we need to question. problematic because they affirm the very assumptions we need to question that decisions in general should be made according to economic calculations. They also fail to persuade. Are you an environmentalist because you are moved by all the money we will save? Well, no one else will become an environmentalist for that reason either. We have to appeal to what moves us, the love of our beautiful planet. Does that mean the new story is a motivational subterfuge, a device to trick us into acting as if what we did mattered? The last resort of my inner cynic is to say, well, I suppose the story of interbeing might be useful as a way to deceive people into taking action. But it isn't true. I would be like the preacher exhorting people to pious acts while secretly being an unbeliever himself. Underneath this particular cynicism, I find again pain and anguished loneliness. It wants proof that the story of interbeing is true, proof that life has purpose. The universe is intelligent, and that I am more than my separate self. I wish I could rely on evidence to choose my belief, but I cannot. Which story is true, separation or interbeing? I will in this book offer evidence that fits the latter, but none of it will constitute proof. No evidence is ever enough. There is always an alternative explanation, coincidence, fraud, wishful thinking, etc. Absent conclusive evidence, you will have to decide on some other basis, such as which story is most aligned with who you truly are, who you truly want to be. Which story gives you the most joy? From which story are you most effective as an agent of change? To make such a choice on something other than evidence and reason is already a huge departure from the story of separation and its objective universe. So, am I tricking you? Surely, if I offered the new story from a place of secret disbelief, I would be an ineffective storyteller. My duplicity would show in one form or another and mar the integrity of the narrative. That is not to say that I have fully stepped into the story of interbeing and the total faith and trust it implies. Far from it. Fortunately, my ability to tell the story doesn't depend on my faith alone. I am surrounded by many, many other people who themselves, imperfectly as I do, hold the same story. Together we move deeper and deeper into it. Alignment is a group activity. Insanity. Contrary to the doctrine of the cynic, the story of interbeing is, as we shall see, not actually less rational or evidence based than the story of separation. We like to think that we base our beliefs on evidence. But far more often, we arrange the evidence to fit our beliefs, distorting or excluding what won't fit, seeking out evidence that will. surrounding ourselves with others who share them. When these beliefs immerse us as part of a story of the people, and when financial self interest and social acceptance are tied to them, it is all the more difficulty to accept anything radically different. That is why to live in the new story can be at times arduous and lonely. In particular, the money system is not aligned with the story of interbeing, enforcing instead competition, scarcity, alienation from nature. Dissolution of community and the endless non reciprocal exploitation of the planet. If your life's work does not contribute to the conversion of nature into products and relationships into services, you may often find that there isn't much money to be made doing it. There are exceptions, glitches in the system, as well as the halting attempts by benevolent people and organizations to use some of their money in the spirit of the gift. But by and large, money as it is today is not aligned with the more beautiful world our hearts know is possible. So this is all we have from this book. I hope you guys liked the story. If you did, don't forget to press the like button. And if you wanted to buy this book, you can visit our Amazon page, Best Book for You, which link is available in the description box, and buy it from there. All the best-selling books are available on our Amazon page, Best Book for You. So if you wanted to suggest any other video to give a review on, you can tell me in the comment section. I'll make a video on that too. So I will back with another video with another book. Till then, just take care and goodbye.